One of my questions watching the show was how much current events, Bezos, Musk becoming their own celebrities informed your acting.
These entrepreneurs do fit into a certain sort of rock star bucket, don't they? And you could compare the rise and fall of Travis Kalanick to the rise and fall of Freddie Mercury in the Queen movie or Ray Charles in the Ray movie. There's a lot of truth to that. Maybe the difference is an entrepreneur like this isn't just making art. An entrepreneur like this is building systems that heavily impact a lot of people in a way that's just different than the way that art can impact people.
Did you try to avoid thinking too much about that? How your own opinion of these figures impacted your role?
Well, certainly that's a big part of why I was fascinated to play this role. We ought to be talking about these stories and asking those questions. And I think Brian Koppelman and David Levine, who made this show, makers of Billions, they're great at making entertainment that'll provide you the fireworks and just be fun to watch, but also ask those questions about what's really going on in the world. I think this one has a lot of really important questions to ask about what we reward as you know, in our economy and in our culture. Someone who's just going to win at all costs and prioritize profits over everything. He made billions of dollars. Why is our system rewarding that? Why doesn't our system reward companies that are looking out for everybody's well-being and are, you know, taking care of the future and not just aimed at maximizing profits right now? This isn't just Uber, and this isn't just Silicon Valley. This is how our system works right now. And I'm glad you're asking me about it, because it is something we ought to be talking about, because we're driving off a cliff unless we can change that.
Did you reach out to Travis at all?
I was able to talk to a lot of different people that were close with Travis, and it was really informative, actually. What you see in the press is largely the questionable decisions he makes or has made, the questionable behavior that he's perhaps guilty of. What you don't get a sense of is what it actually feels like to have a conversation with him, to be close with him, be friends with him, be seeing him every day. That's what I wanted to get a better understanding of. And when I talked to people that were close to him, I got a much better sense of this is a big part of why he was so successful. People actually really like being around him. He's really convincing. He's really winning. He's actually really inspiring in a lot of ways. That to me is kind of the complexity here that's fascinating. There's a reason why figures throughout history that are doing ethically questionable things get so popular. It comes from a certain energy, and I wanted to find that energy. I didn't get that as much by reading articles about him or reading the book that our series is based on. I got that more from talking to the people that worked closely with him.
I've read that your wife, she's kind of in tech. Were you familiar with this type of environment?
She works in the tech industry, and I also actually have learned a lot about it over the last 3 years or so, because my production company, Hit Record, we always were doing this online community, and in the last few years, we wanted to build some better software. And so I did go raise money from Silicon Valley venture capitalists, and I did, we built a team of product designers and engineers, and understood and learned a lot, and met a lot of people and got to know a lot of people and learned a lot about what that is. I think Silicon Valley deserves a lot of the criticism that it's currently receiving, and probably even more so. But I also think that, like I was saying a second ago, it's not just Silicon Valley. It's the way the whole thing works that prioritizes profit over everything. Silicon Valley is just the ones that are doing that the most effectively right now. You could talk about Wall Street, you could talk about the oil industry, you could talk about any number of cultures or industries, but it all comes back to this basic thing that we all kind of follow, that I think we shouldn't be following, that we need to change. There has to be more to our economy than a profit incentive.